YNW Melly's latest bond hearing spiraled into a courtroom clash that caught everyone off guard, with Judge David Porter visibly frustrated with Melly and his legal team right in the thick of the proceedings. The judge wasn't holding back, calling out their conduct and questioning their approach, leaving many to wonder if this confrontation just sealed the rapper's fate after 6 long years behind bars. With the death penalty looming and tensions running sky-high, this fiery moment could be a game-changer for the Florida artist. So, what's really going on? Let's unpack the drama behind this high-stakes bail hearing. First, some context on YNW Melly. Born Jamal Maurice Demons, he's been locked up since February 2019, facing serious charges, 2 counts of first-degree murder connected to the deaths of his close associates, Anthony Williams, YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas, Jr., YNW Juvie. The DA alleges that Melly, alongside Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, killed the two in a car in Miramar, Florida in October 2018, then tried to stage it as a drive-by shooting. His initial trial in July 2023 ended without a verdict. The jury couldn't come to a unanimous decision. Now, with the retrial set for September 10, 2025, Melly's defense team has been working hard to secure his release on bail before the next court date. This hearing was their second attempt at getting him out pre-trial since the mistrial. The Yalfai defense had been preparing a motion since November 2024, claiming that circumstances had shifted significantly since Melly was first arrested. When the hearing kicked off on May 6, 2025, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Judge Porter reviewed past motions and prepared to hear arguments. Melly's lawyers, including Benjamin and Liberty, brought a bold plan, hoping to convince the court to grant bail. Things got heated when the defense attempted to introduce testimony from a newly added expert witness, Dr. Cuthbert. The prosecution immediately objected, citing lack of notice and insufficient time to review any documents related to her testimony. The judge sided with the prosecution, barring Dr. Cuthbert from testifying. This was a blow to the defense, forcing them to rely purely on legal arguments without the support of expert insights. Another contentious issue was the use of suppressed evidence. Earlier, Judge John Murphy had ruled in December 2023 that some evidence obtained in violation of Melly's constitutional rights had to be excluded. The defense argued this evidence shouldn't influence the bail decision, while prosecutors wanted it admitted. After a heated debate, Judge Porter upheld the suppression, refusing to consider that evidence for bail purposes, a significant win for Melly's team. The hearing then delved into which pieces of evidence remained valid. Warrants concerning Melly's social media, phone records, and digital data were scrutinized. Notably, the cell tower location data from the day of the murders, October 26, 2018, was still admissible, potentially incriminating and critical in the judge's bail deliberations. Both sides hammered their arguments around the proof evident and presumption great standard used in Florida capital cases. Under this, if the evidence of guilt is strong enough, the defendant can be denied bail. Prosecutors insisted their case remained solid without the suppressed evidence, pointing to ballistics, location data, and conflicting statements from co-defendant. Cortland Henry, the defense fired back, highlighting the jury's inability to reach a verdict in the first trial, questioning the strength of the prosecution's claims. They accused Detective Mark Moretti of attempting to influence witness testimony and pointed to newly obtained warrants as evidence of prosecutorial misconduct. Finally, the defense proposed strict conditions for release: a modest bond, Melly, residing at a new residence without firearms, wearing a GPS monitor, and having round-the-clock security. They argued these measures would ensure public safety, guarantee court appearances, and protect the integrity of the legal process. After 6 years in jail, they painted this as a reasonable, necessary step. This courtroom showdown was more than just legal maneuvering. It was a pivotal chapter in a long, complicated fight for freedom and justice. Whether this hearing shifts, Melly's fate remains to be seen, but it certainly raised the stakes higher than ever. Your Honor, the Constitution guarantees everyone the presumption of innocence, Melly's defense insisted. 6 years have passed. Over 6 years. Now, this young man has deep roots in the community. His mother, grandmother, siblings, and friends are all here, standing by him. We've proposed strict conditions to ensure safety and court appearances. That's the framework the law supports. But the prosecution wasn't convinced. They hammered on the gravity of the charges, 2 counts of first-degree murder, compounded by allegations of witness tampering. Their key concern? The risk of flight. With the death penalty on the table, many nations refuse to extradite defendants facing capital punishment in the U.S. The possibility that Melli could flee to a country unwilling to send him back was a major red flag. The defendant faces the death penalty, the prosecutor reminded the court. Many countries won't extradite under those circumstances. That risk cannot be ignored. The defense responded by highlighting their stringent security proposals, arguing it would be nearly impossible for Melli to evade custody. They also revealed that his record label was prepared to post any required monetary bond. To maintain privacy and safety, they offered to provide Melli's residence details in a closed session, explaining he would stay with his siblings under 24-hour security. As the hearing drew to a close, Judge Porter acknowledged the arguments from both sides and promised to carefully review the case before deciding on bail. He didn't specify a timeline, leaving everyone anxiously waiting. By May 8th, social media buzzed with reports that Melli had been granted a $500,000 bond for one of 6 charges. But since he needed bonds for all charges to be released, this wasn't enough to get him out yet. According to XXL Magazine, the judge's full ruling on the bail request was expected soon, keeping fans and legal watchers on edge over whether Melli might finally taste freedom before his retrial in September or remain behind bars. This hearing is just a piece of the complicated legal saga Melli has endured. The stakes? Temporary release or continued incarceration, all under the shadow of a potential death sentence. Melli's legal troubles stretch far beyond these murder charges. Long before the current case, he was already in and out of the system. At 16, in October 2015, he was arrested for firing shots near Vero Beach High School, targeting 3 students but luckily missing. He faced multiple counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and discharging a firearm in public. "I went to jail for that school shooting incident," Melli admitted in a 2019 interview. He explained the situation. He'd brought a gun to school, which was then taken by someone else. The confusion around who had the weapon led to the shooting, and eventually, his arrest. After serving about a year in juvenile detention, where he earned his GED, Melli was back in trouble. He violated probation in 2017 and spent more months behind bars. In mid-2018, he was arrested for marijuana possession, carrying a firearm as a felon, and drug paraphernalia. Early 2019 saw yet another arrest for possession, but none of these charges compare to the double murder case that's kept him locked, up for 6 years. On February 13, 2019, Melli turned himself in after being charged with the murders of his friends Anthony Williams, YNW Sackchaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., YNW Juvie, who died in October 2018. The prosecution's story alleges Melli and Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, killed them inside an SUV and tried to cover it up as a drive-by shooting. Forensic evidence, ballistics, blood spatter, and cell phone location data forms the backbone of the state's case, challenging the drive-by narrative. The prosecution also paints a picture of gang ties, linking Melli to the G-Shine Bloods and suggesting the killings were tied to gang interests. During the first trial, a gang expert highlighted coded messages in Melli's texts and suggested he'd been recruited into gang activity. Text exchanges showed tension between Melli and Sackchaser in the months leading up to the murders, including Melli asking his mom for a gun amid growing conflict. One piece of evidence that caught attention was an Instagram message Melli allegedly sent after the murders, boasting, "I did that," to a contact named PZ Gambino, though the defense argued the spelling and style didn't match Melli's usual texting. The case has been riddled with legal twists. In December 2023, Judge John Murphy suppressed evidence obtained through constitutional violations, mainly targeting materials outside the immediate murder timeline, such as gang-related intel. Further drama unfolded when prosecutor Christine Bradley was removed in late 2023 for allegedly concealing information about Detective Mark Moretti's credibility. Testimony suggested Moretti attempted to suborn perjury, casting doubt on the integrity of the investigation. Adding to the chaos, the defense discovered new search warrants in April 2025. Warrants for the same materials previously suppressed but signed by a different judge months later. The defense accused the prosecution of forum shopping, accusing them of deliberately sidestepping previous court rulings. Organizing these warrants proved a nightmare. Pages from multiple warrants were jumbled, taking hours to sort out properly. Melly's first trial, which began in June 2023, ended in a mistrial by July when the jury couldn't reach consensus. Reports said the jury was split 9-3, leaning towards manslaughter rather than murder, and deliberations were reportedly tense, even marked by one juror's offensive behavior. Afterward, in October 2023, prosecutors dropped witness tampering charges, tied to Melly allegedly using gang members to intimidate key witnesses. The defense argued these accusations were timed to hinder bail efforts and lacked legal standing, as one witness was never compelled to testify. Finally, the state's push to use Florida's revised death penalty law, now allowing death sentences, with an 8-4 jury recommendation, adds another layer of constitutional complexity to the case. Through it all, Melly continues to claim innocence, often staying quiet publicly. His music, especially the song "Murder on My Mind," released before the murders, has been scrutinized and even weaponized by prosecutors, deepening the public and legal intrigue surrounding his case. Initially, I lived in some apartments in Orangeville before moving to a neighborhood like Whisper Pond, known for its Mexican-style houses. You probably know the area I'm talking about. In a candid 2019 interview, just after getting out of jail, Melly revealed that he wrote "Murder on My Mind" during his first time behind bars. When asked about what was going through his head, he was reluctant to go into details but confirmed the song came from that intense and chaotic experience, saying it wasn't easy to talk about. Despite the hardships, that moment of confinement sparked the creation of the track, making it a raw reflection of what he was facing then. So after you got out for a bit, you managed to record and release the song, right? Yeah. But then you ended up back inside because people weren't happy about it? Exactly. Melly also opened up about the dark moments during his time in jail, admitting that he sometimes felt completely hopeless. When asked if there was ever a point where he thought all hope was gone, he didn't hesitate to say yes. Yet, despite those tough times, his faith became a crucial source of strength that helped him keep going. When I first got locked up, I was completely lost. I had no idea what was coming or what they planned to do with me. I was just so young, thinking, man, they're gonna hit me with a year or maybe a bit more, then they'll forget about me. This was all before Murder on My Mind even existed. Now, with a retrial scheduled for September 10th, 2025, everyone's watching closely as the bail decision looms in the days ahead. If Melly is granted full bail, it would mark his first real chance at freedom since February 2019, though he'd face tight restrictions. If bail is denied, he'll remain behind bars for at least 4 more months until the trial begins, highlighting the intense aftermath of his journey. Jamal Maurice Demons, better known as YNW Melly, was born on May 1st, 1999, in the small town of Gifford, Florida, a place not exactly famous for launching music careers. Growing up there came with its challenges, though Melly has remained relatively quiet about his early life in interviews. He once summed it up simply, "Nobody makes it out of there. Nobody even knows about it, I don't feel like." His passion for music sparked early, around 8th grade, when he started crafting songs using whatever he could find. In one interview, he recalled his first recording setup, a microphone hung on a hanger, padded with a wig cap, all set up in a friend's room. Despite the modest gear, Melly was instantly hooked, always pushing himself to perfect his craft from the very start. For Melly, staying dedicated was never optional. He was always locked in on his music. His influences paint a picture of an artist whose tastes stretch far beyond the typical trap or drill scene. While he gave shout-outs to heavy hitters like Lil Wayne, Future, and Young Thug, he also revealed an unexpected admiration for legends like Michael Jackson, Ed Sheeran, Adele, and even YouTube artists, showing a wide-ranging musical palette that would shape his melodic rap style. Reflecting on his early days, Melly said he started rapping in 8th grade while vibing to a mix of sounds, from Michael Jackson and Lil Wayne to Chris Brown and Ed Sheeran, though even he wasn't quite sure how all those influences blended together. This eclectic taste, combined with his distinctive style and presence, made him stand out uniquely in his high school crowd. At first, people thought I was strange. My style and vibe didn't fit in with the crowd. But as I started dressing differently and carving out my own lane, folks began to appreciate not just how I looked, but also my sound. That's when things started to shift. Melly's breakthrough came in March 2017 with the release of Murder, On My Mind, a track that would later gain an unsettling weight given the legal troubles that followed. The song introduced listeners to his signature melodic flow, blending sung vocals with an emotional depth that stood apart from the harsher, more aggressive style dominating Florida's rap scene at the time. While Murder on My Mind remains his most recognizable hit, YNW Melly kept momentum going with projects like his 2018 debut commercial mixtape I Am and 2019's We All Shine, steadily expanding his musical footprint. One of the most notable moments in YNW Melly's rising career came with the release of his project We All Shine, which featured the standout track Mixed Personalities. This song not only showcased Melly's unique blend of melodic rap and emotional depth, but also marked a significant collaboration with one of the industry's biggest names, Kanye West. Bringing Kanye into the mix was a major milestone for Melly, signaling his increasing prominence and respect within the music world, especially as it happened shortly before his legal troubles began to overshadow his career. In a 2019 interview, Melly described the experience of working with Kanye as nothing short of awesome and super mega awesome cool, revealing a genuine excitement and admiration for the collaboration. What made this partnership particularly interesting was Melly's suggestion that Mixed Personalities wasn't the only track they worked on together. He hinted that multiple songs had been recorded, hinting at a creative synergy between the two artists that extended beyond a single project. This speaks to Melly's ambition and his ability to connect with established figures in the music industry, despite his young age and relatively new status at the time. The Mixed Personalities. Music video itself stood out for its striking, unconventional visuals, featuring robotic imagery that many found unusual or even puzzling. When asked about the meaning behind these visuals, Melly explained that they were meant to represent his multiple personalities. The imagery of 3 heads was symbolic of the different facets of his identity, each head representing a distinct side of who he is. This concept of having multiple personalities isn't just a one-off artistic choice. It has been a recurring motif throughout Melly's career, providing insight into the complexity of his character and creative expression. Melly's openness about his multiple personalities suggests a layered understanding of self that influences both his music and public persona. This idea of fragmented identities resonates deeply with the emotional and often raw themes in his songs, where he navigates pain, conflict, love, and vulnerability. By visually and lyrically exploring these different sides of himself, Melly invites listeners into his world, a place where contradictions coexist and where personal struggles are made audible. Moreover, the theme of multiple personalities aligns with broader conversations around mental health and identity in hip-hop. While some may speculate about the psychological implications of Melly's references to his different personalities, it's clear that for him, this is as much an artistic device as it is a reflection of his lived experience. Through this lens, Melly's music becomes a platform for exploring inner turmoil and the multifaceted nature of human identity. Ultimately, the collaboration with Kanye West on Mixed Personalities and the visual storytelling of the music video underscore a pivotal moment in Melly's career. It captures his creative boldness and willingness to push boundaries, both sonically and thematically, at a time when his star was ascending rapidly. Despite the challenges that would soon follow, this project remains a testament to Melly's distinctive voice and his ability to channel complexity into compelling art. In a revealing interview, Melly shared that he identifies with 6 distinct personalities but chose to disclose only 3: Melly, Melvin, and Marcus. Melvin, he explained, is the tough, no-nonsense side that doesn't back down from confrontation, while Marcus embodies his softer, more loving nature, often emerging when Melly tries to blend into everyday life. When asked directly about the number of personalities, Melly confirmed 6, but kept most under wraps. Although some have speculated these multiple personality references might be linked to a potential insanity defense, it's important to note that Melly discussed them long, before his murder charges surfaced, suggesting they are a genuine part of his artistic identity and self-perception. Since being incarcerated in February 2019, Melly's career has faced significant hurdles, yet his music has continued to trickle out. His debut studio album, Melly vs. Melvin, dropped in November 2019 while he was behind bars, followed by Just a Matter of Slime in August 2021. These albums were likely pieced together from recordings, made prior to his arrest or during brief windows of freedom. When asked what sets him apart from other Florida rappers, Melly stressed his individuality. "I ain't trying to be like nobody else," he said. "You can tell I'm from Florida, but you can't compare me to anybody." He specifically distanced himself from what he called the Kodak Black Kids, a new generation of Florida artists following in the footsteps of the famed rapper. Melly insisted, "I'm just different. I've got my own thing going on." He acknowledged the only fair comparison might be career-wise with Kodak, but beyond that, he stands alone. As of May 10, 2025, YNW Melly has endured over 6 years in pretrial detention without a conviction, sparking debate about his constitutional right to a speedy trial. The delays are partly due to the complexity of capital cases and the COVID-19 pandemic, but reports have also highlighted the harsh conditions of his confinement. During a bail hearing, his lawyers described him being held in 23-1 conditions, locked in his cell 23 hours a day, with just 1 hour outside. Though this wasn't formally entered into evidence without testimony, it reflects common treatment for high-profile inmates. If granted bail, Melly's defense has outlined plans for him to stay under strict supervision with family, including GPS monitoring and 24-hour security. His record label has even pledged to cover any bond costs, signaling their continued belief in his value despite his long absence from the spotlight. The possibility of Melly being released on bail has ignited excitement among fans, with social media buzzing in early May 2025 about his potential freedom. Hip-hop outlets like XXL and Hip Hop DX reported that a bail decision was imminent, though confusion arose when some accounts announced Melly had secured a $500,000 bond for one of 6 charges. Later clarifications revealed that he wouldn't be released unless bonds were posted for all charges. Should he get out, it would be his first experience of freedom since early 2019, a period during which the hip-hop world evolved dramatically, with many of his peers rising or fading away. Meanwhile, the world itself has shifted under the weight of the COVID-19 pandemic, rapid technological changes, and cultural movements, all of which Melly has only witnessed from behind bars. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the boxes on your screen to explore more content like this.